Even in the future, nothing works. 1987 Spaceballs, directed by Mel Brooks, parody of a bunch of TV series and movies, mainly Star Wars, Star Trek, Transformers, along with Planet of the Apes. This is one of Mel Brooks' most famous movies, probably among many movie lovers, top 5 of Mel Brooks films, in my opinion. It's downright comedy all the way through, hysterical laughs. Mel Brooks, Rick Moranis, and John Candy are magnificent, along with Bill Pullman, who is not listed on the cover as one of the stars, but fairly decent. It's pretty much, like I said, it's pretty much a rip-off off of Star Wars, but in the right way. I mean, there has been some like rip-offs off of Star Wars that weren't very good, but this is one of the few that pulls off it very well for, pretty much at the end of the original Star Wars trilogy that Mel Brooks decided, like, hey, I want to do a space thing, but sort of like make fun of like a bunch of other, space-related movies, and he does it pretty well. He knew what he was doing. Even today, I think it still holds up very well among like 1980s movies. So it's really funny. One of my favorite scenes in this movie is there's quite a few, but I'll name some of them. But one is where Rick Moranis' character, Dark Helmet, is on the desert looking for Barf, and I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've seen this movie, but I remember John Candy's character was named Barf, Bill Pullman's character, along with the actress that played the princess. And they're like coming to desert, and they have like big combs in there, and all they're doing is using the combs to comb the desert. Another one of my favorite scenes is where Rick Moranis is wants to find Lone Star. That's Bill Pullman's character, Lone Star. Sorry. And they catch up with them, and when Lone Star and Barf, go into hyperspace, they sort of like look at each other. Rick Moranis looks at his one captain and says, Where did they go? They must have hyperspace on thing." And Rick Moranis said, "What do we got on this thing? A Quintonox?" And they prepare for hyperspace, and Rick says, "No, we got to go to ludicrous speed." And it's hysterical the way Mel Brooks, filmed that scene. Just them like, their faces are like, "We can't stop." And eventually they do stop, and Rick Moranis just slams Rick Moranis' helmet is pulled up, and you see his face, and it just smashes in. When he stands up, it's like, "Did we stop?" "Yes, we stopped, sir." "Great. Anybody for coffee?" I think his line was like, "Anybody for coffee?" Boom. No, actually, sorry, it's "Smoke if you got them," and he falls down. Another one of my favorite scenes in this movie is after they land on the desert planet, they walk. It sort of looks almost like intimidating, like Temple of Doom, Wizard of Oz type deal, with Lone Star, Barf, the princess, and Dot. I can't remember the princess's name. I do apologize. But them walking down, it looks like the Temple of Doom. That is sort of like a big flashback of like the second Indiana Jones movie, and Wizard of Oz, pretty much, with Dorothy and Tin Man, Scarecrow, and a lion, pretty much walking to meet the wizard. I thought that was, to me, that was kind of like funny, like sort of like a throwback to Wizard of Oz in a way. But there are some great moments. Another one of my favorite scenes is when Rick Moranis and everybody is trying to find Lone Star and company, and they sort of like Dark Helmet's like, "There's a videotape of this out already?" And they're like, "Yes, sir." And they pretty much, go to the library on the spaceship and go through pretty much like all Mel Brooks films up to that point. And they pull out Spaceballs, and they're watching it, and they're fast forward to the moment. And Dark Helmet says, "No, past this part. I actually never play this ever again." And whenever they stop, they sort of like look at each other, like back and forth, like from the camera back, and you actually see the train on the TV as they're watching Spaceballs themselves. And Rick Moranis is just like, "When did this happen in a movie?" And his officer's like, "Now, sir, what you're looking for is like now." Basically that whole scene just cracked me up. I love this movie. It's one of Mel Brooks' best ones up there. It's if you hadn't seen it, you gotta see this. This is an amazing movie. It's been out for years, I think it's like 30 years now, maybe a little bit more. But I know it's been out for at least 30 at most, maybe. So I highly recommend this one as well. This movie will have you laughing from start and finish. So I'll see you on my next one. Have a good day.